DirtVision brings you the greatest shows on dirt, including weekly racing from America's premier tracks. See local drivers running for championships and working to become the stars of tomorrow. South Dakota's Huset Speedway has become a national fixture for Sunday night racing with 2 sprint car divisions and late model street stocks. It also boasts the World of Outlaws' highest paying winner share, the $250,000 finale at the 4-day High Bank Nationals in June. Buy a ticket or pit pass to support Huset's and every track that makes up DirtVision's weekly racing family. And if you can't be there, watch DirtVision for the best live coverage all season long.
Can you believe it is here? Can you believe it is time? Day number 4, championship night of the BillionAuto.com Huset's High Bank Nationals. Tonight, we make world history in sprint car racing. Sean Neisted, John Gibson, David Gravel's going to join us here. How you guys feeling? Because I know I'm pumped up right now.
Absolutely excited. Cannot wait to be part of history. Richest top prize in sprint car racing. We'll go home with 1 driver tonight, and we have an exceptional field returning for competition. Should be an amazing night of racing. We've had 3 spectacular nights so far, and it all leads up to this.
One of those drivers that I know a lot of people are thinking has a chance to walk out of here with that big payday tonight is Mr. David Gravel. Welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us here. I will say right out of the gate, really appreciate your time because we know there's a lot of pressure on all you drivers here tonight. So thank you for coming up and joining us today.
Yeah, no problem. This week's gone by fast. It always does. Knoxville week, Kings Royal week, but luckily, Mother Nature's played nice with us, and looks like we'll be able to have an awesome event here tonight. But we're confident in our car. We've had a good week so far, and hopefully be in position here tonight.
Finishes so far this week, second, fifth. You haven't been out of the top 5 this week. A solid run of second places coming into this week as well. How confident are you when we roll into that feature event tonight?
Yeah, definitely confident. Man, I wish we counted all 3 nights because I think we would have been first in points by a lot. But yeah, it's been a good weekend. We've qualified well. I feel like heat races have been our weak point for the week, but we've been A-maining really well and feel like with the full fuel load, we got a pretty good race car. So we've started 12th, 7th, and 7th both nights, so we passed a lot of race cars. So we're looking to start up closer to the front, and then we got an extra 5 laps tonight.
Now talk about the heat races, which tonight will be replaced by qualifiers, but you said that's perhaps the weak point of the event so far. Now, unofficially, we've got 50 cars returned for competition, so that means we'll go with 6 qualifiers, and only the top 2 in points are locked into the King of the Hill Challenge. That means you'll have to compete in one of those qualifiers. You'll start from the pole, but what does that do as far as changing strategy here coming into the final night?
Yeah, obviously being locked in, it takes the stress off of just having the hot lap and get to that pole shuffle. But every night we've started 6th in the heat race. So starting on the pole is a lot easier and definitely more than what we're used to with the Outlaw format, starting on the pole if you qualify well. So definitely a lot more comforting starting 1st and 6th today, that's for sure.
$250,000 to win the feature tonight. I won't get into specifics with you asking about arrangements. I know a lot of drivers basically a 50% winner share, but of your share of the winning, should you be in victory lane tonight, I want to know what percentage goes to the Mustang, what percentage goes to shoes.
Yeah, it's probably diapers and college fund and maybe retirement. But I don't know. I won the Knoxville Nationals. I never did anything really special as a memento for that. So I kind of regret that a little bit. So hopefully we have that problem here tonight and we can do something cool.
Talked about those qualifiers here tonight. Only 10 laps. You're going to be on the front row of one of them as it looks. How aggressive should we as the race fans expect to see the starts of those qualifiers tonight?
Yeah, it's going to make or break people's weekend, I don't know where Sheldon started last year, but I think he started not up front, maybe 3rd or 4th in a qualifier and put himself in position to start up closer to the front. So with 6 qualifiers, I think by the 6th one, it's probably going to get pretty wide and pretty racy. So we'll just see what happens here. I know they prepared for rain and packed the track in and then, probably did it today after the rain came. So we just have to see what track conditions are like. But the first lap of the qualifier is the most important one. And once the leader gets going, as you can see, sometimes it's hard to pass that guy once he gets momentum rolling. But there'll be a lot of pressure, a lot of eyes on it, and it's the most important race of the weekend so far.
You said a lot of pressure on the qualifier, pressure for all drivers here this weekend, racing for the richest prize in World of Outlaws history. But your car owner owns the racetrack. He's the one putting on this event. Does that add any more pressure to you, knowing that you're going out there with, you know, the title sponsor on the side of your car, the name of the speedway on the side of your car? Does that increase the pressure for David Gravel?
Not for how long I've been doing this. You know, maybe the first couple crown jewel events I've made, but you do it so much, so often, and you know, you race at least 3 or 4 really big races each year. And with Todd being here, you know, it doesn't change it. I'm not thinking about him when I'm in the race car. You know, it's just me and all the other guys out there, and I just do my thing.
Different format tonight. We've already alluded to that King of the Hill. That's what everybody in these qualifiers wants to get to by winning. We know Schuchart and Buddy Kofoid are locked into the King of the Hill. One-on-one against the clock. Fast time of that group moves on and could end up on the pole here tonight. Thoughts on that format, King of the Hill style, versus maybe the more traditional dash?
I like it. We moved up a bunch of spots at the Jackson Nationals last year doing it, but I think it's cool. I think at Jackson we might have did 4 cars at one time, but here you obviously you can't because it's a smaller track. But you know, I like the dash. I like the 1 versus 1 sometimes. You know, that's pretty cool that they do at the Capitani race. But it's cool to do something different with no you know, points event. You know, World of Outlaw points event. I'm fine for trying something different and new, but I think the fans like it. I mean, qualifying is an exciting thing, especially the way Johnny announces and stuff like that. So I think everybody likes it.
How are you holding up? I mean, this is a long week. It's been hot. It's a little bit cooler today. I think every time I've been out here in the fan zone, I think I've seen you out here at some point. I was talking to my son. He was out buying shirts, and he said it was really cool. He was, I think he was getting a beverage over here at the Billion Auto van, and he turned and he's like, Dad, David Gravel is standing right next to me. So you've been out here, you've been busy, you're also racing, you've got everything you have to do after the races. How do you take care of yourself and make sure, you know, physically and mentally you're good to go on these big weeks?
Yeah, so the wife and kids here, and he wakes up at 6:30 in the morning, so I'm definitely tired every day, but it's been really hot too, so today being a little cooler is definitely refreshing. The humidity was pretty high yesterday, sweat a lot, but I just been sign autographs after the races and trying to get home and go to sleep. But yeah, I'm in a t-shirt trailer every race we go to. I'm in a t-shirt trailer, so if you guys are ever at a World of Outlaw event, I'll be there.
Of all the marquee events in sprint car racing, this is the only one that takes place on a short track. Do you feel that benefits your driving style more? Or are you maybe more of a big track guy, or does it actually even matter to you?
It doesn't matter too much. We race so much at so many different tracks. Obviously, we're used to big events being at bigger racetracks, but you know, you got to be good at all of them. And we won here twice in 2021, so I've always liked this place since coming back here with the All-Stars and the Thunder Through the Plains stuff. So I like Knoxville, Eldora, and Williams Grove's been good to me too. So luckily, all the big events, they're places that suit my driving so well.
I think the first time you came here was one of those all-star events, the 89 G car, the family car. And I remember, I think the first night hot laps or qualifying, I watched you go out there and you were quick right out of the gate. Now, I remember telling Guy Webb after the races, you've got a star on your hands in David Gravel. Do you look back to those days and ever just, you know, on a day off, maybe kick back and think about how far your career has traversed from those very early days venturing out on the road?
Yeah, it's been an awesome ride. With the 89G, we had 4 years to race with, and we made them count, but we learned a lot along the way, and luckily I was able to get picked up after that. But it's definitely really cool and surreal. You always wanted to drive for, you know, the big teams. You know, Todd always had, when I was running the 89G, Sammy Swindell and Craig Delansky, and obviously you had Donnie and, you know, Darren Pittman and Joey Saldana driving the KKR rides. You know, you always wanted to drive for those top-notch teams, and yeah, it's pretty cool that you're a wanted guy nowadays, and just everything that's happened, all the different car owners I drove for, all the wins along the way, it's been really cool.
Celebrated your 31st birthday here yesterday. prime time for a sprint car driver, peak conditioning as far as experience and physical conditioning. Question is, how long would you like to drive a sprint car ideally? How, would you like to do this basically until you're not capable of driving a sprint car again? Or are there more things in store for David Gravel?
Yeah, I hope, honestly, not to be in as long as Sammy or Steve. Like, you know, Steve walks around pretty ginger nowadays, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know how long I'll do it for. Definitely, I would say 10 more years, I would say I got in me. So I got a while still. But definitely I have a lot of other interests in life and would love to start my own business one day. So we're just going to go for a ride here, and hopefully Todd keeps me hired here for another 9 or 10 years. And, yeah, then we'll go off in the sunset one day.
Do you feel a difference in the fans when you come to this area? You know, you travel the country, you've got Husitz on the side of the car. I was in the grocery store this afternoon up in Brandon, and I think I saw 15 racing shirts, and 9 of them said David Gravel or Big Game Motorsports. Do you feel that fan support during the races, after the races at the hauler?
Yeah, for sure. Our shop's in Wyndham, Minnesota, and I'll go to the grocery store at lunch, and people know who I am, and they'll have David Gravel shirts on. But definitely the local fan base supports our race team really heavily, and definitely is seen. And the T-shirt trailer has been really busy all week. And yeah, Todd puts a lot into this facility, and having a 250,000 win race is pretty crazy. So we're gonna keep working hard, and he's gonna keep trying to build this event, and really looking forward to it.
At a big event like this, or Knoxville, or the Kings Royal, at some point tonight, I don't know if it's when you're staging for the A main, or you know, maybe getting ready to push off for the qualifier, will you just take a look around and try to soak up the atmosphere and soak up the event magnitude of this?
Yeah, you definitely at these big money events, you know, you get crowds 10,000 plus, and you know, there's a lot of money on the line, but they always do something a little special if it's fireworks or driver intros, and you know, that's when the butterflies start coming. You know, we race enough at a regular World of Outlaw event. It's just another day in the office, but when you come to these big events, you for sure could feel the pressure, you could feel the fans, you could feel the atmosphere, and that's what makes it fun.
You've been to victory lane in some of the marquee events in sprint car racing in the past. Does that change your approach, or does it change the way you feel coming into another one, having experienced that victory before?
Yeah, I mean, I have confidence in my ability, and you try to be a good closer as a race car driver, and you know, there's sometimes you can't win every race when you're leading, but you try to, you know, win a majority of them. So, you know, last year at Knoxville, I wish I could do a couple of things different there, but you know, I've won that race before and know how to win that race. So, man, just like this week, I wish I started closer to the front, because every time I get to second, the race is about over, and I only have about one chance at grabbing the lead. So the goal tonight is to start closer to the front, and I feel like I could control a race really, really well and get through lap traffic. So that's our plan right now.
As a race car driver, you mentioned about things that you could do differently. Do you remember the things that went wrong more easily than you do even the big wins?
Yeah, I guess when you lose a race a bad way, you definitely, man, that stings really bad, and you try to learn from those things. But you win or lose races in sprint car racing with mostly lap traffic and making the right moves in lap traffic, and you know, you just got to anticipate and be able to move around the racetrack. So yeah, I would say you forget the bad things more than the good things.
I think one of my favorite quotes from this stage last year, we had John Cressman up here, and he said something along the lines of the driver who wins is going to be the one who tries the crash the most and hardest and doesn't in the feature event. In your words, what is it going to take to be the victor tonight for that record-setting payout?
Yeah, you just never know how it's going to play out, right? Like last year, it was kind of dominant on the bottom, and then they rolled that top, and then the top came in later in the race. So it's just going to be, I think there's going to be a little bit of management in the race, to be honest with you. I feel like you could overdrive this racetrack and make mistakes. Usually the cushion gets pretty big off of 2, and you could really mess up there. So I feel like you got to be smart, but you got to be aggressive too. It's a short track, and everybody's going to be running really, really hard. So last night was a really aggressive feature, and you know, you see charges and you see guys fall back. 1 or 2 mistakes, you go from 3rd to 7th in a hurry. So I think you have to be smart, but also be aggressive.
All right, race fans here at the Sage Fruit stage, how about it? David Gravel. He'll be driving the BillionAuto.com car number 2 here tonight. We're going to take a quick break from the Sage Fruit stage. When we come back, we've got the driver they call the Big Unit, Austin McCarl, coming up next here on Race Day Live.
Thank you, guys.
Perfection isn't easily achieved. It takes hard work, dedication, and perseverance. Through their commitment to excellence, Sage Fruit Company has been supplying customers with the best tree fruit in the Pacific Northwest for over 3 generations. They work hard on the farm, in the packing facilities, and with their retail partners to provide consistent, high-quality apples and pears all year long. Look for Sage Fruit at your local grocer.
It's going to be Canna McIntosh, 08, victorious tonight.
ARP, the ultimate fasteners for racing in the dirt. With high horsepower demands, ARP delivers maximum clamping force and performance. When failure on the dirt is not an option, it's ARP-bolts.com.
This is a story of grit. The kind of grit that built America. We're born from more than 180 years of grit. We're the underdogs, the lean, hungry, gritty ones. We're reloaded to help our customers do more work with less sweat than ever before. We're the new Case.
Well, if you ever need to feel short in life, you need to stand next to this guy, and that's why we call him the Big Unit. Austin McCarl ready to go here tonight. Fans, how about it for the driver of the 88? How you feeling?
Honestly, a little tired, a little sunburnt, but ready to go. Happy to be here. It's been a beautiful week. Mother Nature. Looking at my phone last night when it finally worked when I got back to the Holiday Inn Express last night was like, today might be a little sketchy. But no, it's been beautiful and really looking forward to tonight.
Finishes so far this week.
We don't have to read all of them.
Well, it trended the right way. Let's say that. Does that give you the confidence going towards tonight that it'll keep trending the right direction?
Yeah, I certainly hope so. I mean, we've been making changes to our car all week, just trying to get better. Everybody's so tough, and the racetracks have been really good this week and kind of different than what we might see on a typical Sunday. So, I mean, you've got to adjust on the fly, and I feel like we kind of are where we are in points doesn't reflect how. I don't know. We have moments of greatness and moments of not greatness. You know what I mean? So we've got to fix those moments of not so great, and I think we'll be right there. But I feel like that's kind of how my season's been all year. When we're good, we're really good, and when we're bad, we're just pretty mediocre. So hopefully tonight, we made a couple changes for tonight. Hopefully to get even a little bit better, keep making those numbers. Hopefully our golf score getting lower and lower. But yeah, we're really looking forward to tonight. It's a beautiful day, like I said, and anything can happen.
One of the unique things about this event, the way the format changes so drastically for the final night. The first 3 nights is all about accumulating points and getting set up for the final night. But even if you don't have such a great week leading into the final night, when the final's based all on finishes in those qualifiers, you've got a chance to really gain a lot of ground and make up for maybe 3 subpar nights if you're in that position.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think Macedo's in my qualifier and Brown and some other guys, but I mean, it's going to be in the fourth one too, the racetrack will hopefully be widened out a little bit, and it'll be racy. I mean, like, I thought last night the heat races were getting really good there, and it was the last 2 nights really were awesome. So I think if you've got a good enough car, you can make stuff happen. You got to get a good start. Obviously, that seems to be really key in all of sprint car racing, but it's you never know. You know what I mean? I think what you just said, you get a good start and you can go down there and, you know, maybe some stuff goes your way, or, you know, hopefully goes your way. You can be looking at yourself and leading that thing coming off of 4 and like, all right, don't make any mistakes, and we're in the king of the hill. I mean, I've been telling my dad I was pretty upset after the heat race, not last night, but 2 nights ago. I kind of got guy got messed up underneath me and kind of sent me through the fence over here, and I was so mad because I just felt like, if I could have just gotten by him, I would have had a chance of being in the redraw. And just being in that top 8 with track position the way this kind of place races and can be so huge. I mean, I know you can always draw the 8, which I've been pretty good at lately, but you can also draw the 1 like I have been at Knoxville too, and just getting yourself out in clean air. I know everyone talks about it, can be so important in controlling a race, like I just heard Gravel say. And I mean, it can just, you know, starting 11th or starting even 7th can change those numbers might be a lot different. So anything can happen. That's the beauty of Huset's and the sprint car racing in general. And we'll, like I said, we're a little bit different in my car than we have been the whole week, and we're going to try it hot lapping and go from there.
You mentioned talking to your dad after that heat race a couple of nights ago. Your father, Terry McCarl, one of the best ever, if not the best, at the Houston Speedway.
The best.
How big of an advantage is that to you to have his knowledge to be gained throughout the week here at...
Oh, it's huge. I mean, I've been coming here my entire life. I mean, sitting up in the you remember, sitting up in the, your wife babysat me, but sitting up in the suites that don't exist anymore. And, you know, I don't know. It's, having him on my side is definitely huge. It's great to have, you know, I'm the mechanic and crew chief, if you will, and I make all the decisions at the end of the day, but just having him to be able to watch the race car and give feedback is something that I haven't had in a long time. And to me, that's just so important right there. I mean, a lot of times we kind of butt heads about what he sees or what I feel sometimes, but it's great to just have that dialogue that I feel like I've lacked the last few years, of just having a guy you trust that stands down in the corner and can watch the race car. I mean, I got a lot of stuff going on inside the thing too, and sometimes what you necessarily feel isn't what he's, you know, if I think I'm wicked tight, he's like, yeah, because you're way free getting in, and a lot of stuff can happen, and that's the value of a mechanic. And, you know, just being able to watch the race car, why Ricky Warner, Paul Silva, Cody Jacobs, all these guys are so good. I mean, it's everyone is so equal now. Having a performance, or how do I say this? Basically a performance advantage on everybody else is almost impossible nowadays. I mean, everyone's making 900 horsepower. Everyone's on the same wings, same tires. You know, there's just little things here and there that we can do, and those little things can be huge things when we get on the racetrack. So, his knowledge has been great, and hopefully we can keep applying it to tonight and just keep going forward.
I learned so much years ago talking with your dad about the sport and about the race cars and how they perform. And not only is he one of the best drivers we've ever seen in this part of the country, but also animated and great at explaining things. And I think you've caught on to that as well. So I asked this question on the stage yesterday, and I'm going to ask you the same question. So we always hear drivers talking about air and what it does to you and how it slows the pace when you've got a car in front of you and changes how your car performs. So in typical McCarl style, explain to us exactly what you're feeling behind the wheel when somebody comes in front of you and suddenly that air is off the front of your car.
Well, this place can be so, especially when it gets slick and wide, like I think hopefully it'll be tonight, it can be pretty momentum based. I mean, and if you break your momentum or try and slide somebody one corner too soon, you know, my dad preaches to me always, don't pass too soon, don't pass too soon, don't pass too soon. And if you do, it'll cost you. I mean, like Houston's a couple weeks ago, I tried to pass a guy too soon, and here comes Parker, big bomb across me, and your momentum's broken, and you can't really do anything to fight him back. So one mistake a half a lap earlier costs you a position a lap later or whatever. So it's just kind of, I don't know, it's hard to explain. It's just when you're out there ringing around the rosy and like your wings in clean air, you think you're really good and your car feels really good, but as soon as you get behind somebody's wake, it just, the way our tires are now, and I kind of wish they would give us some wings back, or not, so we could mechanic our cars a little different with wings and stuff. I think, everyone being on flat wings and everything's all great, but it's just, man, when you get behind somebody, Knoxville it's bad, but I felt it really bad here in the B main the first night behind TK. Like, he made a couple mistakes, and I really got within, probably from here to Ziervoss's trailer from him, and all of a sudden I'm up over the cushion tight. It's just that little bit of downforce is so important, and just keeping the front end down and rotating around there. It's just, we're so aero dependent right now. I don't know. It's hard to explain how that feels, but just that, I mean, leading the race and even running second last night, Buddy, if you get too close to somebody, it just, you have to be really good to come across, or that guy has to make a mistake in front of you, like I was saying how Parker got me. You make a mistake or you try and pass a guy too soon, you miss, and you float up across here and you're going the wrong direction off of 4, and that guy rips around the cushion. He's going 20 mile an hour faster than you going into 1. You've got no chance unless you throw a big blocker, and even that sometimes can be detrimental, so I don't know. It is what it is, and you got to be good. Like I said, you got to be really smart and make really good decisions on the racetrack and have a really good car. It takes everything. The guy that walks away tonight with $250,000 in his pocket is going to be more than likely the best guy. It's going to be a good race.
Let's talk about that patience you were saying that your dad preaches to you, because from sitting high above the front stretch in the booth, a lot of times it seems obvious to me that he tried that too soon. If he would have waited just one more lap, you can see it, I think, a lot more from up top. But how difficult is it as a driver to tell yourself, I can't do this right now. It looks like I'm going to be clear, but I need to wait at least one more lap?
It's just risk versus reward, you know what I mean? Like, you just got to make that decision and kind of judge your pace off that guy in front of you too, and the runs you get or where they make a mistake. It's just, I mean, it's, my dad used to say all the time, this place is a high-speed chess match, and that's really what it is. I mean, but you got to think really, really quick. There's no, I don't know how long you could have in chess to make a decision, but you got to be able to make that decision right now. And I mean, even last night in the heat race, I kind of thought a guy was going to go a different direction and went to the bottom, and I really wish I wouldn't have. And then here comes the 83 car and shows me a nose, and you got to kind of play defense for a couple laps, and then that guy in front of you is gone. So it's important. You just got to be able to judge. Like I said, risk versus reward. Is it going to be worth? Because if you miss, the consequences are usually 2 spots. I feel like, you know what I mean. Like last night or a couple nights ago, me, Carson, Donnie Schatz, and Carson Macedo were all racing. I was like, that was the most intense racing I've ever done for 17th, 18th, 19th, and 20th or whatever it was. And we were all throwing. I mean, I'm sure you're watching the front, but we were throwing haymakers on each other, and it was just one guy gets messed up, and here comes a bomb. And Carson was like, man, I'm 1 second I'm running wherever, and the next it's shots, Macedo, then you. He's like, man, make the bleeding stop. And that's just how this place can be sometimes. You make one bad decision or make a mistake on the exit of a corner, and it's just, here comes the haymakers.
Of the things that you do on the racetrack, what percentage is planned and what percentage is just pure reaction to what you see in front of you?
You try to have plans or game plans, kind of scenarios in your mind to try to be there beforehand if things play out the way they do, but it's a lot of reaction. I mean, sometimes you have kind of preconceived notions of who you're racing with and what they might tend to do, and sometimes guys will shock you too. I mean, last night I made a bad decision on Kerry. I thought he was going to the top, and then bang, he's in the bottom, and next I make one of those mistakes and I get passed by a guy. So it's I don't know, it's just a lot of reaction and how your car is too. You got to make decisions and in the right manner. I mean, you got to be, like my dad told me last night, these are the best guys in the world, and you have to race really, really smart. And I think that's kind of how the beauty of this place is. You have to race really, really smart, especially when it gets wide and there's a tricky bottom and a tricky top. The exit of 2 is kind of famous for getting kind of sketchy in the back pit gate. So I don't know. It's you just got to be on top of your game. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's why everyone says the World of Outlaw guys are the best guys in the world, and it's true. Reason number 1, because they have the most money typically, and they race the most, and they don't make mistakes. You know what I mean? Everyone like in these heat races is going to be on kill, and at one little error or miss slider or guy taking the air off you one time can be the difference between that king of the hill or starting on the middle of front of a B maybe. So it's again, that's why it's exciting. That's why there's a ton of people here, and it's why we keep coming back. Dirt racing's awesome.
You were talking about those big moves in the field last night, and it looked to me that the slide jobs to me looked different than a typical Huset's slide job. Did it seem different? It seemed like they were just really deep last night.
Yeah, it just seems like to get a run on guys, you kind of have to like almost drive to the exit. Like, you really got it to clear someone. And then last night, they developed a little hole off of 2 that kind of made things tricky where guys would get messed up. And I wasn't good enough to turn off of it and drive by guys. I don't know. If I wasn't, it seems like halfway through the race, like when my tires get hot, I kind of start to fade for whatever reason. At Knoxville even, I thought that. And so I got to fix that little problem. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's the tires. Maybe I think it's a little bit of its wings. Like, not to sit here and preach, but I wish they would open up our wing rule a little bit just so we can run behind people a little bit better. Like talking to McFadden a couple days ago, he was like, man, in Australia, you can run right up on a guy. And here, you get within 5 car lengths of him, somebody you think you're a lot better than, or better than, faster than, and then all of a sudden your car changes and it takes you 5, you make a mistake and it takes 5 laps to get back to where you were. So I don't know. It's I kind of forgot the question, but it's going to be interesting. I get to rambling. I am Team X kid, not a talker.
Over the last couple of nights, we've seen, especially at the beginning of the night, they've been leaving the bottom pretty wet and tilled up, and it seems like it takes a while for it to come in. Last night, we saw it bite Donnie Schatz. We saw it bite TK there. When, as a driver, do you know that it's safe to try to go down there, or is there a moment that you think it's safe, or is it just desperation, like, hey, I'm not getting anywhere, I've got to try something different, whether it's ready or not?
Sometimes you just got to try it, like you said, but it's like when you're rolling around there lining up, I think you got to kind of make a decision. Hess does a good job of letting us pass the pace car and kind of get a half warm-up lap, if you will, and you can kind of go down there and test it where if you think and especially if you're going to start down there too, you got to kind of see how you're going to be on the start. But it's just, and it's crazy too how fast it can change between one heat race to the next. You know what I mean? Like maybe just some guys go down there, in the back or whatever. Like Carson Macedo and Carson's heat I was watching last night was really good down there. And like I said, I went down there on the start and I felt like I just wasn't stuck enough to do it. It was still a little bit too greasy for me, and I just felt like I couldn't make speed down there to get off the corner. So it takes a good car. You got to use your feet really well, and it just kind of depends. It's it changes so quick. I mean, I don't know. It's kind of hard to explain, but it's you just kind of got to make that decision and like risk versus reward, man. You know what I mean? And just kind of see how the cards play out in front of you too. It's tricky, and you're gonna have to be on top of your game. And I think most importantly, you got to have a good car to go down there and do it, but once it gets good, it seems like everyone's good down there, right? So, and then it kind of throws marbles and makes the top dirty, and I don't know, it makes it interesting. It's dirt track racing. It's changing all the time. I mean, heat 1 to heat 6 is such a different game, So, I don't know. It's going to be fun.
Fun. I hope that's the word you're using at the end of the night, too.
Yeah.
All right. How about it, fans? The big unit, Austin McCarl, going after it tonight. We wish you the best.
Thank you very much, guys.
We are live outside the Sage Fruit stage, outside Turn 4 at Houston Speedway, getting set for the championship nights of the BillionAuto.com High Bank Nationals presented by Menards. When we come back, we'll talk with Spencer Bayston.
From the DirtVision studio, I'm Dave Reef with some important information to pass along about the upcoming Knoxville Nationals and 360 Knoxville Nationals in August. Now let me start with a reminder. Both of those events are already included as part of the annual DirtVision Fast Pass subscription. They are not included with the monthly Fast Pass. So monthly subscribers need to upgrade to an annual Fast Pass or buy the pay-per-view to watch our live coverage. DirtVision does offer Knoxville Nationals and 360 Knoxville Nationals bundles that include all nights for a discounted price. Now, let me explain how to upgrade from a monthly to an annual Fast Pass, and we strongly encourage doing this through our website, DirtVision.com. Go to your account icon on the upper right, click Manage Subscription, and change your subscription frequency to annual. This gives you immediate access to the Knoxville Nationals and 360 Knoxville Nationals. Remember, purchasing online also gives you access to those events on all of our apps. In fact, upgrade on our website before August 1st, and you will get $50 off the price of an annual Fast Pass for 1 year by using the promo code UPGRADE23. Just enter UPGRADE23 on the promotions line, which is also found in the subscription management section. That's UPGRADE23, and it's only redeemable through our website by the 1st of August. Please also note, if you purchased your original subscription through one of the app providers, you will not be able to change it on our website. You must upgrade within the same app. However, the apps wait until monthly subscriptions expire before upgrading, so do so before July 1st. If you want the $50 discount, cancel your monthly subscription on your app, and once it expires, sign up again on our website using the promo code UPGRADE23 on the promotions line. Thank you once again for your time and, of course, for watching the greatest shows on dirt right here on DirtVision.
When you come to pit road, all 4 of you stay in the car.
Need that fire truck.
Are you looking for the best made in the USA racing components? Look no further. DMI Racing Components and Bulldog Quick Change Rears are built tough, built to win, and built in the USA. DMI components are designed, developed, produced, and shipped by experienced winning racers in the heart of central Pennsylvania. From late nights in the shop to 2 a.m. car washes, we know what it takes to compete, and we know you deserve the best. We race, you race. Let's race together.
I watched my first race yesterday.
You're on the team, kid. It's orientation day.
Hey, new guy, let's get you up to speed.
Lunch time!
Your workspace is ready.
Looks like you got a corner office.
Be part of something greater. Toyota, let's go places.
There are a number of outcomes that we want students to achieve after they complete a career technical education program. One of the first outcomes is to have employability skills. We start as early as the elementary division where students are exposed. We allow students in the middle division to explore, and we want students in the senior division to practice. The opportunity to practice those skills throughout the course of their high school career is critical.
We are back on the Sage Fruit stage outside of Turn 4 at Houston Speedway. The final night of the BillionAuto.com Houston's High Bank Nationals presented by Menards for the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series. And the series Rookie of the Year in 2022 now joins us here, Spencer Bayston. And you got a win here during this event last year. And tonight you're locked into a pole position for one of our qualifiers. So not a bad 3 days so far.
Yeah, we're sitting pretty, compared to where our season really has been. We came in strong this week, and our car's been fast each and every night. So we've been, growing with our consistency and putting up some good finishes, and really capped it off last night with a strong podium. So pleased with where our Truth Timber 5 is right now, and no better time to start hitting your stride than here at Houston for the 250.
I felt like last night when you got out of the race car, you almost had a relieved look to you as you got out of that. Was that the case?
Absolutely. I mean, you spend a whole week here watching some really, really good cars not even make the show a couple nights, guys up and flow with their performances, and we seemingly are one of the more consistent cars. So to really put together 3 full nights, be competitive, consistent, have speed. Personally, myself feeling like I'm doing a good job. That definitely helps. So that sigh of relief is definitely well deserved for a whole program, and no better way to do it than to cap it off with a good performance again tonight.
The week's performance, 9th, 7th, 3rd, going the right direction for sure. What's been the difference to improve the performance throughout the week?
Well, we've been in the redraw every night, which obviously that can dictate a little bit, but we've started, in the front couple rows every night as well. I think just a little bit of car performance, and that, at my point of experience level, mistakes are magnified, I think, if, your car isn't exactly where you need to be. And, guys like Brad or David, Donnie, that have been doing it for as long as they have, they can hide those mistakes and imperfections a little bit better than someone like myself. So that's something we're still working towards, and that just comes with experience and seat time. So I think that's the biggest difference, is just being off just a little bit and me not being able to make it up in the car. So, but every night, like I said, we've been improving, and I've been getting more comfortable and confident with my decisions and what we're doing on the racetrack.
Format being what it is, we've got enough cars back in the period to make it a 6 qualifier program. So it means you'll have to run one of those qualifiers and finish out front to lock yourself into the King of the Hill program. How much pressure and what is the game plan going into that first corner on that first lap of the qualifier, which is so important now to your whole week?
Yeah, I think it's pretty silly. They only lock in 2 cars after 3 full nights of racing, but everyone's kind of dealing with the same thing. So fortunately, we're at least on the front row of one of those races tonight to get locked into that King of the Hill. So you just go in with the same clean mindset that we've really had all week. The bottom's been pretty dominant in the heat races so far, but without qualifying tonight, that could present a little bit different of a surface. So fortunately, we're in the second one, so we'll be able to witness the first and see how that lays out. But you just kind of go into that hoping you can get out and run and nothing silly happens, because after putting together a full week of good performances, unfortunately, you're one mistake away or one failure away from really throwing away the whole thing. So pressure's definitely on tonight, but we handle pressure well, so we'll be fine.
Seems like you, here on the second year full-time World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series competitor, seems like you've got one of the younger crews out there on the road, and even got some home cooking kind of in this area. Aiden Lloyd on your crew, and you were talking to Austin down there on the stage. You guys both kind of shared a smile last night when you thanked him. So is it kind of cool to come back into the area where you got crew members who are from here?
Definitely. It's anytime our crew guys can get home and sleep in their own bed for a couple nights, they come back with a little bit extra pep in their step. So it's definitely nice to be able to race kind of in Aiden's backyard, and obviously a place that we got our first win with the True Timber with our True Timber sponsorship announcement last year. So it's a special place, a special facility. It obviously brings out a lot of great fans, and so it's our really first marquee event, I guess, this year that there's big money up for grabs. So a lot of hype behind it for sure.
This is what you do night in, night out, weekends from Volusia to World Finals. This is what you do, but does this week truly feel different when you're out there in the race car?
That's a good question. Once you get going, once it goes green, you perform or try to perform with the same attitude and mindset every night. I feel like if you start to analyze things too much and you're thinking about, oh, there's more at stake tonight, that presents mistakes and bad decisions, because you're trying to push the limit and push past your ability. So you really try to just perform kind of with the same attitude each night, but it definitely is not easy. Late race caution with as much on the line, it's definitely running through your head, but you just got to try to stay focused and stay attentive to the task at hand and just focus on your fundamentals.
Does the focus change then for a driver? Let's say you're running second tonight and there's 3, 4, 5 laps to go and you're chasing down that leader. Does it change a little bit?
I mean, I think it's you're going to be going for it. It's the same thing we're going to see here in a couple weeks at Eldora. When you present an opportunity for a team that spends all year on the road, working up and down, blood, sweat, and tears, owners that spend a lot of money, drivers that really commit their whole livelihood to a sport, an opportunity to go out and make that kind of money. There's going to be certain individuals and I would say most individuals that are probably going to push the limit past what you would on, I guess, any other given night. So I would not be surprised if we saw that at the end of tonight, and that's what everyone here has to look forward to. And being on the better end of that and on the offensive side of that is definitely where we want to be. So we got to do everything it takes leading up to that point to make sure we're there.
One thing that strikes me about you seem as one of the more analytical drivers that we have out here on the road, and you came into the World of Outlaws with, by my estimation, probably less wing sprint car experience than a lot of drivers that spent their first season competing with the greatest show on dirt. What did you do to try to catch up to all the other competitors as far as driving with a wing on the car?
Trying to just absorb everything as much as possible. I mean, before I got on the Outlaw Tour full time, of course, you ran a handful of races, and every time you came and raced with the World of Outlaws compared to another competing series, you learned so much more. Just because everyone races on a much higher level. There's just a lot more talent, a lot more good cars, a lot more speed. Things happen faster in an outlaw race. So just getting in and racing as much as possible. Obviously, up till my first full-time season. And once I had the opportunity last year to run a full season in one car with one crew, trying to take advantage of that as much as possible, just to absorb as much information and really try to analyze every night and just pull as much as you can out of it. And spending, a couple weeks between events with drivers and just kind of picking their brains on things and watching, every video you can find of the races that, we race across all across the country. So just acting like a sponge, absorb as much as you can because, you're surrounded by very talented guys.
You've got somebody with a wealth of knowledge turning the wrenches on your car with Barry Jackson. How much does he act as crew chief and how much does he act as driver coach to you?
He definitely, obviously his main role is boss of the team and keeping us going and keeping things in line and efficient and performing well. So, his position as a crew chief is obviously, in my opinion, the most important on the team. But then also second to that is a motivator for myself and an educator just because of the knowledge that he has. So, he's been very helpful, over the years just because he's seen so much. He's been out here for so long. He's worked with a lot of really talented drivers, and he has a massive resume. So having the opportunity to work with him and Chad Clemens has been a blessing for sure. And the pressure us drivers have on our shoulders to go out and perform because you have all those tools is certainly heavy, but anytime you can put a smile on their face, it's a good feeling.
Your best analysis, what is it going to take for a driver to go to victory lane tonight?
I think as difficult it is the past year, in my opinion, just not because of really conditions, but just because of everyone here is fast. You get inside that top 10 group, and we've seen it all week. The best guys can start, in the 5th or 6th row and struggle to really work through past that front group. So starting position is going to be key, and restarts are going to be key. I think that's what hurt me last night a little bit, and maybe keeping a win away from us is just being a bit better on restarts. And after that track work, the track changes so much quicker here than I think it does at a lot of other places, where you can run around the bottom for a handful of laps and then it changes in an instant where you need to be changing lanes. And I was about a lap or two late to that last night, and I think that's key because getting into traffic, if you're able to maneuver your way through traffic a little bit cleaner as a leader, it's an advantage, but then it's also an advantage to be second because you have the eyes up. You can see how things develop and put yourself in a better place than, per se, the leader is while they're working through traffic. So everything's going to have to go right. Whoever's going to win this thing tonight is going to have to make all the right decisions and limit their mistakes next to none. So that's what I'm looking to do. That's, of course, why we're here. We've been working all week towards that, and there's that's forefront in our minds for sure.
All right, he's done it here before, race fans. How about it for Spencer Bayston? And he'll be going from the pole of one of those qualifiers tonight. Best of luck to you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, everyone, for coming.
We'll be back to the Sage Fruit stage right after this.
You wanted the best, you got them for a rest. Often imitated, never duplicated. The greatest show on dirt, the World of Outlaws. Slide job!
Hold on tight to the checkered flag with our huge selection of high-quality titanium fasteners. Quality you can see, strength you can test. We use heat-treated, certified aerospace billet material that's stronger than grade 8 steel, and all of our parts are American-made with American metal, by racers, for racers. From micro, midget, sprint, and IndyCar to top fuel, tractor pull, and more. Visit our website to configure a custom bolt kit for your car, and we'll ship it to you in labeled bags. Smith Titanium. We winnovate.
Welcome to our world. A world of dirt, drift, and dodging fate. A world where all of motorsport collides. A world of digging deep, of grit, glory, and bitter defeat. Inhabited by the strong, the fearless, the barely sane. Welcome to our world. Welcome to the world of NOS.
My 2004 Chevy Silverado was starting to sound terrible. It would make a loud rattle noise and hesitate when I gave it the gas. I came across Seafoam motor treatment at the parts store and picked up a few cans to try. I am amazed at how good the truck runs now. The rattle's gone and it runs great.
To find out more about Seafoam products and how they can help your engine run better and last longer, go to seafoamworks.com.
Perfection isn't easily achieved. It takes hard work, dedication, and perseverance. Through their commitment to excellence, Sage Fruit Company has been supplying customers with the best tree fruit in the Pacific Northwest for over 3 generations. They work hard on the farm, in the packing facilities, and with their retail partners to provide consistent, high-quality apples and pears all year long. Look for Sage Fruit at your local grocer.
Practice scheduled for 7:30 tonight local time for the final night of the BillionAuto.com Huset's High Bank Nationals presented by Menards here at Huset Speedway. At the other end of the program, somebody walks away with $250,000. Between theirs, a lot of drivers are going to run qualifiers and have a lot of pressure on them. This man not running a qualifier tonight, and that's got a smile on his face. Welcome to the Sage Fruit stage, Buddy Kofoid. All right, we've talked to 3 drivers here tonight. They're all talking about the intensity in the qualifiers to make it into that King of the Hill. We know you're there. You're number 2 in points. You're locked in. How you feeling?
No, really, really good. You know, someone asked me earlier how I felt about watching, and you know, I feel like it's kind of weird watching all those races, and I feel like I'm left out a little bit, but at the same time, it's nice to know that, you know, we have a guaranteed spot up front to go for $250,000. So, you know, really proud of that, and it's, you know, it's almost unbelievable hearing that.
What a way to debut for a brand new race team for you. You come out in your first weekend or first week with Roth Motorsports, and you find yourself locked into the top 2 after 3 nights.
Yeah, no, the Roth Motorsports guys have been working extremely hard, and you know, I ran for them about a month ago in Hanford, but you know, it was with a completely different crew and different package. So, you know, I'm excited to be working with Dylan Buswell and Chad Seipert, and you know, it's nice to have Todd Ventura here keeping us in line, and no, just really proud to drive such an iconic car, and to come out of the gate at what I feel like is probably one of my stronger tracks. You know, to have 2 podiums and you know, led laps one of the nights, and be up front is you know, something to be excited about. And you know, ran 3rd a couple days ago, 2nd yesterday, and hopefully today's one better.
It seems like your name has been at the forefront of the sprint car racing scene for really a fairly decent amount of time for somebody who is as young as you are. You started off in sprint cars at an incredibly young age.
Yeah, no, I don't know if a lot of people know my story, but my dad and I, we built a limited sprint car, and I practiced it. So I grew up in Northern California, so there's a track, Marysville Raceway, and they used to have Monday night practices, and I was 9 when I practiced, and then I did it when I was 10 in a Wing 360, and then Dan Simpson was the first one to give me my first opportunity in a sprint car. And I raced for him in his series in a limited 360 when I was 11, and then couldn't go back to running sprint cars because of how young I was, and we didn't, in his series, it wasn't around anymore at his track. So I went back to go-karts at 12, and then since I've been 13, I've been running sprint cars ever since. So 13 to 21 now, I feel like I've done, wing sprint cars, non-wing, Silver Crown, midgets, trucks, ARCA. I feel like I've gotten to run quite a bit of different cars for a lot of great people, but to be here running wing sprint cars for Dennis and Teresa Roth and in front of this crowd is something that gives me a lot of joy.
How does a 9-year-old fit in a sprint car? How do you do that?
I bet we probably had 3 or 4 inch spacers under my seat, and I think my heel blocks was 7 inches.
I don't even know where to go from that. That's incredible.
Not a lot of people did at the time either.
It was like, hey, look at that little kid, right? Like, he's in a race car.
And someone made a joke years ago that they thought about calling CPS on my parents for doing that to me. But no, I feel like, I practiced, like I said, for 2 years on Mondays pretty religiously before I actually ever raced and was around other cars. So I feel like that helped a lot, and I could get comfortable in something completely different under little to no pressure.
You talked about growing up in Northern California, and you are back with one of the iconic teams from California now. So you know the history of the sport. You appreciate the history of sprint car racing, and you come here and run for one of the most recognizable teams in sprint car history. What does that mean to somebody who, again, still just 21 years of age?
Yeah, no, it's really special. Like I said, I grew up going to the Gold Cup with my family when I first started running outlaw karts. So I was probably 5 or 6, and we went for a few years and always watched the Roth cars. And at the time, TK was one of the main guys in that car, and so I got to watch them run really well. And they had a lot of guys, great guys before him and after him that have done so much. So to be one of those guys that Dennis and Teresa and Todd, that they entrusted in me and believed in me to be in that position is certainly special. And being from California, I appreciate their history more coming from California. So that makes it special, like I said. But to run up front in the richest outlaw race is even better.
There's a lot of wooing going on off stage here. They've had a lot of nos, I think, over there. I think they are ready to go. At what point tonight, and how do you balance nerves, know that you're going for such a huge payday versus the adrenaline you need to be an aggressive sprint car driver?
Man, I don't know. Ironically, last night was the worst sleep I've had all week, so I don't know. I feel like that's kind of a good thing. I put a lot of pressure on myself, and I feel like I kind of add to those nerves. But, to me, at the end of the day, if you have nerves, you care enough about it. So I feel like that's a good thing, and I feel like that'll add to my adrenaline. So, also getting in a car is, it doesn't kick in until you fire off. So, I feel nerves right now, but, eventually when I get in, everything will be, I feel like, pretty calm and collected for myself. So just got to keep doing what we're doing, really. I mean, like I said, Dylan and Chatty have done a hell of a job, and got super comfortable quick. And with the Toyota engine, it drives different. It feels a lot different, but, it's a testament to them to get it comfortable, and it has certainly a lot of speed. So, we've worked hard on that, and we've been fast, right off the rip. So just got to be good in our hot laps and qualify well in the King of the Hill.
I got to ask on Facebook to ask a driver this question today, because as fans, we can see your hands moving around in the car and we can hear the throttle, but how much are you using both of your feet to get around the racetrack, using the brakes to get the car to perform too?
Yeah, I guess it depends on, I mean, here, a place like this, quite a bit, to run the bottom and even, to run the top, or if it's got some character, to keep it loaded in the bars and maybe keep yourself from getting tight, but it keeps you loaded into the track, and running the brake is probably just as important, if not more important, than obviously running the throttle. So you got to run the throttle, but the brake and all that goes hand in hand to run both pedals. And there's a lot of great sprint car drivers that know how to do both, and that's, why they're in the position that they are today. So, a place like this, where you got multiple grooves, you got to be able to work both and, know when to use your wing or know, because, the track changes so much, go around, it's heavy and we're wide open to slick on the fence, and then on the curb, and then it starts to take rubber. So, I feel like that in itself is a challenge, and you got to be on the watch for that, but you got to use all your tools at your disposal.
You mentioned the Toyota engines in the Roth Enterprises machines, and it's certainly no coincidence that you're part of that program because you've had an association with Toyota throughout your career. What does it mean to a driver who's so young that a company like Toyota has that level of trust in you to place you in this sort of position?
Yeah, I've always said that, it kind of goes hand in hand when I started racing with Keith Kunz Motorsports, but Toyota was a big reason of why I was able to do that. I said that changed my life, and that probably changed my trajectory as far as, what I've been able to do or maybe what I get to do now. So, I've always said it's something that I've worked my whole life to be in that position, to be recognized by a manufacturer, to be backed by one, and to have opportunities that I never thought I'd have, like getting to run a truck at Bristol or run an ARCA car or getting to run midgets full time and go for championships, or even now be a part of the sprint car program is something that I've wanted to do for a long time.
What's it going to take to be the driver that goes to victory lane tonight? What are they going to have to do in that 40-lap main event to cash the $250,000?
It's tough. I mean, even the prelim nights are super tough with the format, but I feel like we did a lot of the hard work to be in the position we're in, but now all the toughest guys still are right there. So, Logan's been great, David's great, Brad and Spencer and all those guys are going to be up front. So, I feel like a lot of it's, with these wing sprint races, you got to be able to control the race early and be that lead car. But, the dirty air here is almost more than most other tracks I feel like that we go to, at least for me personally. So, you get to traffic and you got to still be able to pounce on them and pick them off one by one and not stall out, if you will. So I feel like you got to be the lead car. We also got to know, like I said, when the track's changing, when to move, bottom or top, or when to find the rubber if it's coming, and so it's going to take a lot of work, and there's going to be a lot of guys coming that have been here more than I have and that have a ton of experience, but I feel like we have a very capable car, and I feel like we've done a lot of the hard work to get where we are now.
Assuming it's not a situation where we've got late caution flags in the very closing stages of this, but 5 more laps doesn't sound like a lot, but how big of a difference does that make in your overall race strategy?
I guess it's 5 more laps of stress, whether you're leading or not, but. No, I mean, 35 laps sometimes feels like a long race. When you get the long runs, or even if you have, 3 to 5 yellows, it feels like it just adds to it. So, 5 more laps is only half a heat race, but, it feels like an eternity. So, especially with a race like this and how much it's paying and everyone that's here, I feel like it just, as a driver, it makes it feel so much longer and more drawn out, but hopefully we can get a great surface like we have been the few nights, and we can put on a good race for an even longer race.
Will there be a point in tonight's program where you stop, maybe you look at the grandstands, or you just do whatever you need to do to soak in the magnitude of this history-making event?
Yeah, so I've I appreciate all the fans that come, obviously, and even this is really cool to me. And I've looked every night, from either in the pits or in the car, looking up and seeing everyone. And it's a place like this is cool because we're kind of at the bottom and they're looking down on us. So I've always been a fan of tracks where you're kind of like in a Thunderdome type of feel. So I've always thought that was really neat, and to see the people here and all the cars already coming in is great to see. And as a driver, it's proud to know that we can put on a show for that amount of people.
Well, there he is, race fans. How about it? We know he's in the King of the Hill, Buddy Kofoid. Roth Motorsports 83 Junior here tonight. That man's got a lot of pressure on him, Johnny. He's got a big job to do, and we're going to be big-time fans here tonight. Not long from now, practice starts at 7:30. Let's make some history tonight.
Largest purse in World of Outlaws history. We're going to do it right here in front of everybody at the Houston Speedway. It is the finale of the BillionAuto.com Houston's High Bank Nationals presented by Menards. I can't wait.
If you're watching this right now on social media, you need to go to DirtVision.com, get your Fast Pass subscription to watch this record-setting event. Again, go over to DirtVision.com. If you're watching right now on DirtVision, make sure to back out of this feed and go to tonight's race feed for the pre-race festivities that will start over there in a short while. I'm pumped.
I am too. It's going to be a fantastic night. Have you alongside up in the booth, and we've got Austin Lloyd and Chase Rodman down in the infield. Should be an amazing night. I can't wait to find out what happens.
We will find out very soon. Thanks for joining us here at the Sage Fruit stage all week long. It's time to make history. It is time for the championship night here at the BillionAuto.com Houston's High Bank Nationals presented by Menards. See you trackside here very soon.
Perfection isn't easily achieved. It takes hard work, dedication, and perseverance. Through their commitment to excellence, Sage Fruit Company has been supplying customers with the best tree fruit in the Pacific Northwest for over 3 generations. They work hard on the farm, in the packing facilities, and with their retail partners to provide consistent, high-quality apples and pears all year long. Look for Sage Fruit at your local grocer.
You're messing with some forces that your mind can't comprehend. I done been to the bottom, I ain't going back again. So when the hell you think you're playing with now? You don't fall around and let the wolves out. And I'll be prowling while you sleep. You were playing for fun, I'm playing deep.
From the DirtVision studio, I'm Dave Reef with some important information to pass along about the upcoming Knoxville Nationals and 360 Knoxville Nationals in August. Now let me start with a reminder. Both of those events are already included as part of the annual DirtVision Fast Pass subscription. They are not included with the monthly Fast Pass. So monthly subscribers need to upgrade to an annual Fast Pass or buy the pay-per-view to watch our live coverage. DirtVision does offer Knoxville Nationals and 360 Knoxville Nationals bundles that include all nights for a discounted price. Now, let me explain how to upgrade from a monthly to an annual Fast Pass, and we strongly encourage doing this through our website, DirtVision.com. Go to your account icon on the upper right, click Manage Subscription, and change your subscription frequency to annual. This gives you immediate access to the Knoxville Nationals and 360 Knoxville Nationals. Remember, purchasing online also gives you access to those events on all of our apps. In fact, upgrade on our website before August 1st, and you will get $50 off the price of an annual Fast Pass for 1 year by using the promo code UPGRADE23. Just enter UPGRADE23 on the promotions line, which is also found in the subscription management section. That's UPGRADE23, and it's only redeemable through our website by the 1st of August. Please also note, if you purchased your original subscription through one of the app providers, you will not be able to change it on our website. You must upgrade within the same app. However, the apps wait until monthly subscriptions expire before upgrading, so do so before July 1st. If you want the $50 discount, cancel your monthly subscription on your app, and once it expires, sign up again on our website using the promo code UPGRADE23 on the promotions line. Thank you once again for your time and, of course, for watching the greatest shows on dirt right here on DirtVision.